Sun Si's conquests in Jiangdong, the foundation of Eastern Wu. Sun Si's conquests in Jiangdong were a series of bold military campaigns that took place from 194 to 199 CE, during the final years of the Eastern Han Dynasty. These campaigns were pivotal in establishing the territory that would later become the heart of the Eastern Wu state during the Three Kingdoms period to 20 to 280 CE. The legacy of Sun Si's father, Sun Si, was the eldest son of Sun Jian, a well-known warlord who had made a name for himself in the tumultuous times of the late Han Dynasty. Unfortunately, Sun Jian was killed in action during the Battle of Xianyang in 191 CE while fighting against Liu Bao, the governor of Jing Province. At the tender age of 16, Sun Si lost his father, but despite his youth, he was already well regarded and had built connections with many influential figures. A young leader rises. In 194 CE, Sun Si made a bold decision. He sought out Yuan Shu, a powerful warlord to whom his father had once been subordinate. Sun Si hoped to regain control of his father's troops, but Yuan Shu, though surprised by Sun Si's arrival, was unwilling to return command of the forces to him. Instead, Yuan Shu sent Sun Si to Danyang Commandery, where Sun Si's maternal uncle, Wu Jing, held a position. Although Sun Si initially gathered only a few hundred men, his leadership was immediately tested when he was attacked by Zhu Lang, a bandit leader in Jing County. Sun Si narrowly escaped with his life. Later, Yuan Shu finally agreed to return some of Sun Jian's troops to Sun Si, giving him about 1,000 soldiers. Yuan Shu also promised to make Sun Si the administrator of Zhujiang Commandery, but reneged on this promise, appointing Chen Ji instead. Yuan Shu's repeated broken promises left Sun Si feeling increasingly frustrated. Despite these setbacks, Sun Si continued to build alliances, gaining the support of important figures in the Wu region, such as Ling Cao and Zhou Tai. Around this time, the Yang province territories were under the nominal control of Liu Yao, who had been appointed as the inspector of Yang province by the Han central government. However, Liu Yao's actual control was limited to 4 commanderies, with others outside his influence. Campaign against Liu Yao. In 195 CE, Sun Si sought permission from Yuan Shu to assist Wu Jing in fighting Liu Yao, and Yuan Shu appointed him as colonel who breaks and charges and acting general who exterminates bandits. With an initial force of around 1,000 troops and a small group of followers, Sun Si set out on his campaign. By the time he reached Liying County, his forces had swelled to about 5,000 to 6,000 men. Sun Si's first major victory came when he crossed the Yangtze River and attacked Liu Yao's base at Niuzhu, securing a significant cache of weapons and provisions. Around this time, 2 other warlords, Zhu Li and Zirong, had come to support Liu Yao. Sun Si quickly defeated Zirong, forcing him to retreat. Although Sun Si was wounded by a stray arrow during the battle, he used clever tactics to trick Zirong into a false sense of security, ultimately defeating him. Sun Si continued his campaign, defeating Liu Yao's forces at Hailing and conquering key locations such as Hushu and Jiangcheng. He then laid siege to Kui County, the administrative center of Liu Yao's territories. During this time, the renowned warrior Tao Shixia arrived to assist Liu Yao, but despite his skills, Tao Shixia was unable to turn the tide. In a dramatic duel, Sun Si and Tao Shixia clashed, each managing to disarm the other, but the battle ended in a stalemate with reinforcements arriving for both sides. Eventually, Liu Yao was defeated and fled, leaving Sun Si in control of Kui County. Sun Si's leadership and his ability to rally more than 20,000 troops and 1,000 war horses in a single day demonstrated his growing influence and power, expanding his territory. After securing Kui County, Sun Si turned his attention to other regions. In 196 CE, he led his troops to attack Wanlang, the administrator of Kuiji Commandery, on the southern shore of Hangzhou Bay. Sun Si's strategic brilliance was on full display as he outmaneuvered Wanlang's forces, eventually forcing Wanlang to flee and later surrender. By 197 CE, Sun Si had established a strong foothold in the Jiangdong region. Recognizing his growing power, the Han central government promoted him to general who attacks rebels and enfeoffed him as the Marquis of Wu. This marked a significant turning point in Sun Ce's career as he began to distance himself from his former ally, Yuan Shu, who had by then declared himself emperor and become a pariah among the warlords. Campaign against bandits and the Shanyu. Sun Ce continued his conquests, targeting bandit leaders like Yan Baihu and the Shanyu, a group of rebellious tribes in the region. He defeated these forces one by one, often sparing his enemies and bringing them into his fold as loyal subordinates. One notable example was Tai Shixi, who had initially fought against Sun Ce but later became one of his most trusted generals. By 199 CE, Sun Ce had effectively consolidated his control over the Jiangdong region, securing 3 commanderies and eliminating significant threats to his rule. His military successes and strategic acumen laid the groundwork for the future state of Eastern Wu. Breaking ties with Yuan Shu. As Sun Ce's power grew, Yuan Shu's influence waned. When Yuan Shu declared himself emperor, Sun Ce formally broke ties with him, aligning himself with the Han central government and other warlords who opposed Yuan Shu. This decision further solidified Sun Ce's position as a key player in the power struggles of the time. Final campaigns and legacy. In the winter of 199 CE, Sun Ce launched a final series of campaigns to expand his territory. He captured Lujiang Commandery and defeated Liu Zun, further consolidating his control over the region. However, Sun Ce's life was tragically cut short in 200 CE when he was ambushed and mortally wounded by former servants of Su Gong, an enemy he had previously defeated. Despite his untimely death, Sun Ce's conquests laid the foundation for the state of Eastern Wu. His younger brother, Sun Quan, inherited his legacy and went on to become the founding emperor of Eastern Wu during the Three Kingdoms period. Sun Ce's achievements, though brief, were instrumental in shaping the course of Chinese history during one of its most tumultuous eras. During the era of the Three Kingdoms, one of the warlords who rose to power the quickest was Sun Ce. He was the son of Sun Jian, who passed away at the young age of 36, forcing Sun Ce to build his own legacy from a very young age. Sun Jian was one of the 18 allied warlords who united to overthrow the tyrant Dong Zhuo, after Dong Zhuo burned the capital Luoyang and relocated the capital to Chang'an. Sun Jian found the imperial seal, a symbol of the emperor's divine right to rule. Instead of handing it over to Yuan Shao, the leader of the allied forces, Sun Jian chose to keep the seal for himself, envisioning a bigger plan. When Yuan Shao discovered this, he informed Liu Bao, the ruler of Jing province, and urged him to intercept Sun Jian and seize the imperial seal. This marked the beginning of a bitter rivalry between the Sun family and the forces of Jing province. Unfortunately, Sun Jian met his end at the hands of Liu Biao's army at the age of just 36. Sun Ce, still a young warrior, had to take up his father's mantle at only 18 years old. With limited resources and experience, he sought refuge under the protection of Yuan Shu. Even though Sun Ce proved to be a brilliant general, conquering many territories and earning recognition as one of Yuan Shu's top warriors, he never received the support or opportunities to grow from Yuan Shu. Determined to fulfill his father's ambitions and establish his own power in the Jiangdong region, Sun Ce made a bold decision. He traded the imperial seal, a valuable artifact that Sun Jian had safeguarded with his life, for an army and provisions to the tune of 3,000 troops. This was the starting point for his conquest of Jiangdong. This decision left many, including his closest ally Zhou Yu, puzzled. Zhou Yu was like a brother to Sun Ce, always by his side in battle. However, Sun Ce saw the imperial seal as nothing more than a symbol, a means to an end. For him, the true currency of power was an army. With his newfound strength, Sun Ce launched an attack on Liu Yao in the Yang province, defeating him and securing the loyalty of Tai Shixi, one of Liu Yao's best generals. As Sun Ce's forces grew stronger, he went on to defeat 2 other powerful warlords in Jiangdong, Wang Lang and Yan Baihu, solidifying his position and laying the foundation for his own kingdom. Sun Ce, who earned the nickname Little Conqueror for his extraordinary military prowess, reminiscent of the legendary Xian Yu from the end of the Qin dynasty, managed to carve out his own domain in just 7 to 8 years. He transformed from a subordinate of Yuan Shu into a young leader of the Jiangdong region. Reflecting on Sun Ce's decision to break away from Yuan Shu, no one at the time could have predicted that this young warlord would become one of the three major powers in the Three Kingdoms era. But with the determination and vision typical of the younger generation, he was willing to trade something as coveted as the imperial seal for an army that would be the foundation of his power. Sun Ce truly exemplified the foresight of a new generation. While others viewed the imperial seal as a priceless artifact and a key to becoming emperor, Sun Ce saw it as a mere illusion. What he really needed was the practical resources, an army and land to build his empire. This is how Sun Ce made his choices. He chose reality over illusion, prioritizing an army over the imperial seal. His strategic decisions laid the groundwork for the rise of the Sun family in the tumultuous era of the Three Kingdoms. Why did Sun Quan not grant Sun Ce the title of emperor? If Sun Quan had declared Sun Ce as emperor, it would have given Sun Shao, Sun Ce's son, a legitimate claim to the throne. Sun Shao was not only Sun Ce's son but also a highly skilled general in his own right. Sun Shao had a notable role as a general, though he faced significant challenges. For instance, he had a conflict with Su Sheng that nearly led to his execution when Cao Pi launched the military campaign. Fortunately, Sun Shao held great respect and affection for Sun Quan, and this sentiment was mutual. Sun Quan had a deep affection for his nephew, which helped to keep the political situation in the state of Wu stable for a time, until Sun Quan's health began to decline. To understand Sun Quan's decision, we need to consider the psychological and emotional aspects. Sun Ce, who only ruled for a short period and spent much of that time at war, didn't have much attachment to power and luxury. As a result, when he was dying, he could pass on leadership to his younger brother, Sun Quan, without much hesitation. In contrast, Sun Quan ruled for many decades, enjoying a long and comfortable reign. This extended time in power naturally led to a stronger attachment to his position and authority. Sun Quan's deep-seated attachment to his power made him reluctant to see it go to anyone outside of his direct lineage. He wanted to ensure that the throne would be passed down to his own descendants rather than to another branch of the family, even if that branch included capable leaders like Sun Shao. This need to keep power within his own line explains why Sun Quan never bestowed the title of emperor on Sun Ce. Doing so would have threatened the continuity of his own descendants' rule, something Sun Quan was not willing to risk.